Okay guys, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Now, fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. Okay guys, it's Sunday, January 5th, and I'm back, and I see you're here as well, so I guess we can start. Now, I do want to apologize for yesterday. I have been having a great deal of problem with my internet, and it was spotty the one night I wasn't able to post, and then last night it was the same situation, and I wasn't even able to let you know by putting a note on my channel because I had no internet. So the problem is fixed. It was a problem with a splitter. So it's fixed and it shouldn't be a problem from here on in, but I do apologize because it was my intention to post yesterday, obviously. And so that is the situation, but we're all good to go. There isn't any Q post for today, but there is a lot of news. And even though there's not a lot happening, there's a lot of chatter out there. A lot. So there's a lot of stuff to go over. But first, I just want to take a few minutes, just a minute or so, not even, to thank a couple people. Since the last post that I made, I want to thank the following coffee donors, Kevin and Brenda Waters. And thank you so much, Kevin and Brenda, for the lovely sentiment that you expressed. And I appreciate that very, very much. And by someone by the name of Brexit. Thank you guys, and also picked up a new Patreon supporter, Susan H. So thank you very much. Your support goes a long way in making sure that this channel is here and that I'm able to do it and have time to do it. So thank you so much, and let's get right into it. All right. Now, this is from Educating Liberals, someone that I follow on Twitter and enjoy following. Says, Obama dropped over 26,171 bombs on 7 different countries during 2016, and the left didn't bat an eye. But Trump drops one airstrike on the world's most savage terrorist, and they lose their minds. Get it together, fools. Yeah, it sounds like, to listen to some of the left, you would think that they and Soleimani were like best of buds. Really, some of them are just real broken up about it. And, I'm not somebody that goes, yeah, let's kill. No, not at all. Not at all. And I don't know the whole situation there or why this person was targeted. I do know that they are a terrorist. They have been responsible for the death of Americans and the death of some of their own people. So, I don't understand why the left is all broken up about it. You would think that President Trump committed the unpardonable sin or something, but that's the way they are just going on and on and on about it. But of course, Obama, my gosh, my mind, I don't know where it is. But anyway, Obama, you would think that that man could do no wrong. Really. I mean, they treated him like he was Jesus Christ. And I mean that. They really did. They worshiped this man, not President Trump. All right, so let's go on now to something really, really out there. And found this hard to believe, and yet, I don't know, every single day that goes by, it stretches, our ability to, this stuff you think, oh, it can't get any worse. It's just so bizarre. It's so out there. It's like we're living in bizarro land. But then the next day comes along and it gets even more bizarre. Where's it all going to end? I don't know. But this Hustler magazine sends Congress a Christmas card depicting a graphic assassination of President Trump. Now, this is from January 2nd, so it's a few days behind, but like, what is going on? And here's the card. I just shot Donald Trump on 5th Avenue and no one arrested me. And then it has President Trump here lying with his red tie over to its side and blood coming out of his head. And it says, from all of us at Hustler, Merry Christmas. This is the most inappropriate card ever. And notice how it was sent to Congress, not to the Senate. Because the Congress is, majority is Democrat, so they knew that they would get a charge out of that. They thought that they would find that funny, and I'm sure they probably did. The rest of America, we don't find it so funny. What if that was somebody else, anybody else? What if somebody sent a card like that to Congress that had Obama's body lying there? What would they do about that? Or Pelosi's body? Or any of them? Schumer? Any of them? How would they react to that? There would be a massive, massive outcry. But it's just Trump. Nobody cares. That's what they think. Well, we care. So, Hustler magazine, a grotesque pornographic monthly publication run by Larry Flynt, sent Congress a Christmas card depicting a graphic assassination of President Trump. The front of the card showed a cartoon holding a smoking gun with a caption, "I just shot Donald Trump on Fifth Avenue and no one arrested me." This was a reference to Trump's lawyer arguing in court that the president could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not be charged. The inside of the card showed a dead, bloody Donald Trump with 2 shotgun wounds to the trunk of his body. It seemed to me that the blood was coming out of his head, but hey, what do I know? Everyone surrounding Trump's dead body was cheering. There was even a Santa Claus and a child cheering his assassination. Merry Christmas from all of us at Hustler. Politico reporter Melanie Zanona says she confirmed the authenticity of the card with Hustler. The card was sent by Hustler and was our official holiday card for 2019. Wow, that's your official holiday card for 2019. Well, you don't say. And it says, and then down here it says a number of congressional GOP congressional offices have received the following Christmas card per sources. I confirmed its authenticity with Hustler, which told me the card was sent by Hustler and was our official holiday card for 2019. Well, the left, especially the lunatics in Hollywood, constantly make reference to assassinating President Trump. Z-list loser Kathy Griffin said that she was put on the Interpol list and the Five Eyes list after she did a photo shoot holding up a bloody severed Trump head. Well, yes, that was the appropriate response, is to put her on the Interpol list and the Five Eyes list, don't you think? Somebody that goes to the trouble of posing with a bloody head? Are you kidding me? And Donald Trump's son saw that. Barron. And I don't know how old he is now, but he's definitely a minor. And he was certainly a minor when that came out. I mean, just unbelievable. So anyway, I wanted you to see that. And we're going to go on now to other things and other things that are similar to that. Excuse me. I'm choking on saliva for some reason. All right, so let's get into this. And this from Gateway Pundit. Huge breaking news. Iranian regime offers $80 million for President Trump's head. $80 million for President Trump's head. Now, this is from today, so this is hot and fresh news. On Friday morning, the United States killed General Qasem Soleimani, a top commander of the Iran's Al-Quds force, in an airstrike at Baghdad's international airport. The strike also killed Abu Mahdi al-Mohandes, the deputy commander of Iran-backed militias known as the Popular Mobilization Forces. 7 people were reportedly killed in the airstrike. The Iraqi parliament will hold an emergency session on Sunday, today, to discuss the U.S. airstrike in Baghdad that killed Iranian terror leader Qasem Soleimani and Iraqi militia commander Abu Mahdi al-Mohandes. Those names are a little difficult. All right. On Sunday, the Iranian regime just offered an $80 million bounty for anyone who brings in the head of President Donald Trump for killing Qasem Soleimani. Now, you know that they're offering $80 million. Now, you know that there are some very unbalanced people in the United States. You and I both know that. We see it in the news every day. Very, very unbalanced people. Somebody's going to look at this and say, $80 million. Wow. You don't think? I do. I do. I think that this puts a big old target right on his head. Not that it hasn't been there the whole time since he's been president, but this makes it even more so. And it's, I don't know. I'm more worried about an American hurting Trump than I am about, a foreign entity. I really am. Now, maybe I shouldn't be so confident in that at all. Maybe I shouldn't be. But I think the Americans are more of a threat to him than anyone else. And not all Americans, of course. We love President Trump. We think he's doing a fantastic job as president. We want to keep him as president. And of course, most Americans would never wish him harm. Most. And there are some that vehemently disagree with him, but they wouldn't wish him harm. They might not like his policies, but they wouldn't wish him harm. But then there's those few unbalanced, really, really left of center people. And, I worry about those people. I really do, because I see that their reasoning is not even there anymore. It's just they're offside. And, okay, I didn't like Obama. I never liked Obama. I didn't vote for him. I would never vote for him. But did I ever wish harm to him? Of course not. And there were a lot of Americans that did not like Obama, but they never wished him harm. I don't wish him harm. I wish him to face justice. Absolutely. But I don't wish him harm just for the sake of wishing him harm. Absolutely not. But yet, that's not the same for the people that are against Trump. They seem to feel that their very existence is being threatened by Trump being even alive and breathing the same air that they're breathing. It's bizarre. Anyway, the announcement was made today at services for Soleimani. It says, so Iranians in London are today celebrating the elimination of the world's #1 terrorist, Qasem, however you pronounce that, Soleimani. Soleimani was a vicious criminal who massacred hundreds of thousands in the region and assisted the crackdown of the Iran protests. The people of Iran are glad he's gone. And I think more or less that's the case. More or less. I think that most, now I can't speak for them. I'm not there. But from what I've heard, they are delighted he's gone. OMG, Iran's regime just announced an $80 million bounty for anyone who brings the head of Donald Trump for killing Soleimani. P.S. Iran's people, however, are overjoyed at Soleimani's death. As the Iran protests have shown, they long for an end to the mullah's tyranny. So there you go. Now, let's go back. And there is more. Let's look at this, and then we're going to go up to this about John Kerry. But this is by Lisa May Crowley. Again, a great person to follow on Twitter. And she is responding to this person, Ryan Fournier. George Lopez, and you know, of course, who George Lopez is. I know that he is a Hollywood person and has been in sitcoms and so forth and is a comedian. But George Lopez just said he'd assassinate President Trump for half of the $80 million bounty. And it said, at Secret Service should take a look at this. The left is sick. Yes, they are sick. And by the true meaning of the word, they are mentally sick. Really. And says, this says, Chicano World Star, Iranian authorities have put out a bounty on American President Donald Trump's head during the televised funeral of General Qasem Soleimani after he was assassinated last week. What are your thoughts? And George Lopez responded, we'll do it for half. So Lisa May Crowley responded to this and said, those who scream the loudest. Yes, I would agree with that, and probably not a bad idea to start taking a look at George Lopez and looking into his background, because there's surely a reason why he would hate Trump that much. Does he even know Trump? Probably not. Maybe. Who knows? But let's move on now, and let's get to this. This is very important, I think. Now, this was posted by someone that goes by the name of Machiavelli. Traitor John Kerry is one of the biggest scumbags from the Obama regime, running shadow diplomacy with Iran terrorists to undermine President Trump. He violated the Logan Act in his treasonous actions. Blood is on his hands. What's the penalty for treason? Well, you and I both know. All right. And let's listen to this by OAN.
Have never been shy about their own double standards, but the lack of outrage over former Secretary of State John Kerry's secret meetings with Iran takes the hypocrisy to a new low. Recent reports revealed John Kerry held at least 2 covert meetings with top-ranking Iranian officials over the Iran nuclear deal. The goal of Kerry's shadow diplomacy was to undermine President Trump's efforts to pull out of one of the most disastrous deals in history. This is the definition of high-level collusion with a foreign power, and yet Democrats are absolutely silent on the matter.
And we've actually ended up in a country in which the media supports one standard for Republicans, investigate them for everything, including false charges, and another standard for Democrats, which is you can destroy email, you can take billions from a foreign country while you're vice president, you can take hundreds of millions from Russia when you're Secretary of State. It doesn't matter if you're a Democrat, you can break any law you want, you're going to be protected by the media.
President Trump, among others, has suggested that Kerry may have even violated the Logan Act, which forbids private citizens from meeting with a foreign nation to influence the U.S. government, which is exactly what John Kerry did. The irony here is staggering, since the Logan Act is the same law Democrats accused former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn of violating. But Kerry wasn't acting alone, and used his ties to hold meetings with the leaders of numerous foreign countries, including the presidents of Germany and France, as well as officials from the European Union like Federica Mogherini, on top of meeting with Iran's foreign minister, Javad Zarif. All of these high-level meetings were carried out while Kerry was just a private citizen. The hypocrisy goes even deeper, however, as just 3 short years ago, Kerry vowed on national television that this is exactly the kind of thing he would never do. After Senate Republicans wrote a letter to Iran informing them that John Kerry and Obama's deal was unconstitutional, Kerry was outraged.
Yes, I bet he was outraged. Yeah, and that is, the thing is, he is a private citizen now. He doesn't have any power behind him. And so what he is doing as a private citizen and not at the behest of the government of the U.S. Well, not the real government, perhaps the shadow state, the whatever you want to call it, the deep state, the cabal, the shadow government, however you want to call it. That is who he is representing, certainly not the country of the U.S., and he had no business there, and he should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. That is what I believe. This is unconscionable. I've never seen the likes of this ever, and it's very hard to believe that it's happening in a country like the United States of America. It's very hard to believe. And yet, it is. So let's go back and get to some of these other things. We've looked at that, and let's look at this. Now, again, talking about, people wanting Trump dead, came across this by someone that calls himself Alyssa at Your Holy Gay Mom. All right, on Saturday, the 11th January, 3 a.m., okay, the 11th of January, this coming January 11th, on Saturday, the 11th of January at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will broadcast a death ritual against President Trump. Witches far and near, please join me and perform the ritual along with me as I lead through it. To see what you'll need, open the thread. Return tweets so all witches get to see this. Well, I got to see this. I'm no witch, and I will actively pray against these people. Unbelievable. So if you are a believer, and want to join me, please pray against this wickedness. It is pure, unadulterated wickedness. This woman wanting to broadcast a death ritual to witches far and wide, so that they can join her and, I guess, increase the power of the ritual. I don't know, but this is what she, coming down a little bit, this is what she says that you'll need if you happen to be a witch and want to curse President Trump, or, well, I guess it's a death ritual, so you're wanting to kill him or wanting someone else to kill him or whatever. The ingredients: 2 black candles, 1 red candle, red paper with a black pentagram drawn on it, a rotten apple, a Trump puppet, rotten, maybe she means puppet, I don't know, rotten flesh. Now, where the heck are you going to get rotten flesh? I guess just let a piece of chicken go bad? I don't know. 3 pieces of bread, black pepper. Make sure you have them by the mentioned time. This ritual is not some evil act. This is what is needed right now. If this man proceeds to live, he'll put millions of innocent lives in jeopardy. His fate will be a lesson for the future fascists. Enough is enough. The world isn't yours to oppress anymore. And yes, I am planning on sending this to the to alert the Secret Service and anyone else I can think of, the FBI, whatever, because this is unbelievable. Oh, and yeah, it's not some evil act. This man needs to die. Yeah, that's not evil. All of you worried about the threefold law can put the karma of your spell on me. My full name is Alyssa Brown. Just say the karma of this ritual is on Alyssa Brown 3 times before doing the ritual. I don't care. The millions of lives at stake are more important to me. Oh, please, LOL. This white witch who has angels here will only say, have fun with the threefold return. Boomerang. I don't know what that's all about. And I'm not going to read any further because this is just a bunch of crap. Like, not, you know, not even good crap. It's the runny, smelly kind. That kind of crap. That's what it's full of. That kind of crap. Unreal. So anyway, let's go on, see what other craziness there is. And there's lots. Let's look at this. Can't remember what this is, but it must be good or bad. These liars need shut down. There needs to be consequences for all lies. Oh, I agree with this. Yes, I remember very well what this is now. It says, looking at this paper at USA Today, front page title, show of force. This displays people sifting through rubble and women mourning their children's death. However, the date is August 22, 2008. Yeah, President Trump was not in office then. That would have been Obama. America, this is how mainstream media lies to you. This didn't happen under Trump. Now, let's click on this. Hopefully it'll, so it says Afghanistan on August 27, 2008. And there, look at that picture. And then let's move forward. And here is the full picture. And they're trying to pass that off as having just happened. Yeah, we're being lied to every single freaking day. I'm sick of it. I really am. We don't know what's true or not. And you can see a picture, but you don't know when that was taken or if it was staged or anything else. You know, I remember in one of my classes in university, we were debating, can a picture lie? Yes, a picture can lie. A picture can very much lie. If it's taken out of context or if it's staged or whatever, pictures definitely lie. And we cannot even trust our own eyes anymore. That's sad. So yeah, this is what not just President Trump is up against. This is what we're up against as a country. Those of us who want a country. They want the United States of America to remain free and to stand for freedom and liberty. This is what we're up against. I don't know. I feel like the volume has just gotten turned up full blast on this whole thing, really. And you know what? I think it's going to keep, that volume's going to be keep up, right up turned right up until the 2020 elections, because they're not going to stop fighting. And you know what? When Trump gets in with a landslide, and he will, unless they cheat in some way, then it's not going to stop then either. These people will never stop. This is what's alarming me. They're not going to stop. These are not people that can just say, you know what? All right, I'll wait it out. I don't like Trump. He'll be out of office. And sooner or later. And, no, these aren't people that can do that. They're not mature people that can delay their own gratification. They want it now. Well, if we can't have what we want, if we can't have a one world order, let's just kill Trump. So there you go. I'm sorry. I'm just a ball full of, good tidings tonight, aren't I? I'm sorry. And I've had a really, yesterday was a day from the pit. So I hope that's not coming across. I don't mean to sound so whatever, but this is something to be very alarmed about. And the people that aren't alarmed about it aren't paying attention, really. So let's go back and let's look at this. This by someone that goes by the name of War Nurse. Now I can't remember. Oh, yes. Okay. Prostitutes, pimps, handlers, and the 4 a.m. cable. We all know what the 4 a.m. cable is. That's what comes from the CIA to the mainstream media, because they are the propaganda arm of the Democratic Party, and they get their little memos at 4 a.m. That's why if you turn on this news, it's going to be, if it's mainstream news, it's going to be the same as this news station, as this news station, as this news station, because they all get the same memos. So anyway, let's come down here, because she's going somewhere with all this. When you're sitting comfortably in front of your TV, keep in mind that the actual patent for television was filed as an electromagnetic nervous system manipulation apparatus. That's correct. The television, the patent for it was filed as an electromagnetic nervous system manipulation apparatus. U.S. Patent 6506148, if you want to look it up. Nervous system manipulation by electromagnetic fields from monitors. And then, why do we have wars? The world is ruled by an elite group of psychopaths who own the banks, control the governments, and the media. They fund both sides of war for profit. They manufacture the consent of the public through the propaganda of the media. And that's a mouthful right there. Manufacturing the consent. I did a whole essay on that, the manufacture of consent, and how they do that. They literally give you misinformation or bits of information twisted with lies and everything else. So you consent to what they're doing, but you really are not consenting based on facts. You're consenting based on how they want you to respond to it. That is called manufacturing consent. People consent because they have the facts wrong. They've been manipulated. They've been filled full of propaganda. All right. And shortly, the public will be unable to reason or think for themselves. They'll only be able to parrot the information they've been given on the previous night's news. And that was from Zbigniew Brzezinski. Barry Soetoro, our good friend Hussein Obama, thanked Brzezinski in his acceptance speech after winning the presidency. Gee, I wonder why. Trump could have undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control what people think. And that is our job. That is a quote from Mika Brzezinski. Direct quote. Yeah. He's undermined the messaging so much that he can actually control what people think. And that is our job. Can you imagine saying that? She did. The day before Christmas 2016, Barry Soetoro quietly signed the cynical Countering Disinformation and Propaganda Act into law. However, as Barry is convicted of treason, the EO will most definitely become null and void. Well, I hope so. Not a grand challenge for NSA to trace the 4 a.m. cable to every single one of the packed journalists. And this from Q from January 19, 2018. MSM is fake news, propaganda, talking points, 4 a.m., private email addresses, paid contractors, Judgment Day, Q. And we most definitely are. And it's beautiful. You are witnessing the collapse of the largest pre-planned and coordinated propaganda event in modern day history, Projection 101, Q. And that is something else, but it's true. Witnessing the collapse of the largest pre-planned and coordinated propaganda event in modern day history, Projection 101. And of course, we know that that is what they're doing. They're projecting on to Trump what they themselves are guilty of. And this was from Q, March 23rd, 2019. Let's come down here. It says, clowns exposed, faces of seditious conspirators in the U.S. media. I'll kick this off with the 65 journalists WikiLeaks revealed accepted to work with the DNC and the Hillary Clinton campaign to influence and steal the 2016 election. And then below, she says, they are not journalists. They are not reporters. They are professional mouthpieces. They are the clowns in America. Names, headshots, and news organization. 18 U.S. Code 2384, seditious conspiracy. 18 U.S. Code 1962, RICO, crimes against humanity. And then it says Cecilia Vega, ABC, she's one of them. David Murr, ABC, he's another one. Diane Sawyer, ABC, another. George Stephanopoulos, ABC. Jonathan Karl, ABC. Liz Kreutz, ABC. I'm not sure how you pronounce her name. Julie Pace, AP. Ken Thomas, AP. Lisa Lair, AP. April Ryan, AURN, whatever that stands for. Jennifer Epstein. John Hellman, Bloomberg. Jonathan Alter, Bloomberg. Mark Halperin, Bloomberg. Ben Smith, BuzzFeed. Rudy Kramer, BuzzFeed. Gail King, CBS. John Dickerson, CBS. Nora O'Donnell, CBS. Steve Chagaris, CBS. Vicki Gordon, CBS. And there's more. So there you go. These are people that have agreed to work with the DNC, and yeah, very interesting. And I'm sure there's a whole lot more. In fact, there are 68 more, I believe. So there you go. This is some good information, and it's needed right now to counter all this stuff. So let's go on because there's more. I thought this was interesting. This is a little bit aside from all the weirdness that we've been just covering, but Republicans favor 2 of Trump's children as top 2024 choices. Now, I'm not going to go through and read all this, but as you can imagine, it is Ivana and, no, it's Ivanka. Sorry, Ivana was his first wife. Ivanka and Don Jr. So I think that that's interesting. These are the people that are favored for 2024. Republican voters choose 2 of President Donald Trump's children as their top choices for president in 2024, according to a recent poll. So I think that that is interesting, and I'm glad because I think that they both could have a very good career in politics. I think that they are on the ball. They're very intelligent. And of course, they've had the benefit of working with their father. So, and I'm sure they've seen a lot. All right, let's go back now, see what else. Okay, yes, let's look at this. This again is very, very critical. Fresh Cambridge Analytica leak shows global manipulation is out of control. Companies work in 68 countries laid bare with release of more than 100,000 documents. An explosive leak of tens of thousands of documents from the defunct data firm Cambridge Analytica is set to expose the inner workings of the company that collapsed after the Observer revealed it had misappropriated 87 million Facebook profiles, more than 100,000 documents relating to work in 68 countries that will lay bare the global infrastructure of an operation used to manipulate voters on an industrial scale are set to be released over the next months. It comes as Christopher Steele, the ex-head of MI6's Russia desk and the intelligence expert behind the so-called Steele dossier into Trump's relationship with Russia, said that while the company had closed down, the failure to properly punish bad actors meant that the prospects for manipulation of the U.S. election this year were even worse. The release of documents began on New Year's Day on an anonymous Twitter account at Hindsight Files, with links to material on elections in Malaysia, Kenya, and Brazil. The documents were revealed to have come from Brittany Kaiser, an ex-Cambridge Analytica employee turned whistleblower, and to be the same one subpoenaed by Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. Kaiser, who starred in the Oscar shortlisted Netflix documentary The Great Hack, decided to go public after last month's election in Britain. It's so abundantly clear our electoral systems are wide open to abuse, she said. I'm very fearful about what is going to happen in the U.S. election later this year, and I think one of the few ways of protecting ourselves is to get as much information out there as possible. The documents were reviewed from her email accounts and hard drives, and though she handed over some of the material to Parliament in April 2018, she said there were thousands and thousands more pages which showed a breadth and depth of the work that went way beyond what people think they know about the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Steele made a rare public intervention to comment on the leaks. He said that while he didn't know what was in them, the context could be even more important because on our current trajectory, these problems are likely to get worse, not better, and with crucial 2020 elections in America and elsewhere approaching, this is a very scary prospect. Something radical needs to be done about it, and fast. He said authorities in the West had failed to punish those practicing social and other media manipulation, and the results will be that while California may have exposed and eventually California may have been exposed and eventually shut down, even more sophisticated actors will have been emboldened to interfere in our elections and sow social discord. Kaiser and the Facebook data scandal was part of a much bigger global operation that worked with governments, intelligence agencies, commercial companies, and political campaigns to manipulate and influence people, and that raised huge national security implications. The unpublished documents contain material that suggests the firm was working for a political party in Ukraine in 2017, even while under investigation as part of Mueller's inquiry, and emails that Kaiser may describe how the firm helped develop a sophisticated infrastructure of shell companies that were designed to funnel dark money into politics. There are emails between these major Trump donors discussing ways of obscuring the source of their donations through a series of different financial vehicles. These documents expose the entire dark money machinery behind U.S. politics. The same machinery, she says, was deployed in other countries that Cambridge Analytica worked in, including, she claims, Britain. Emma Bryant, an academic at Bard College, New York, who specializes in investigating propaganda, has had access to some of the documents for research and said that what has been revealed was the tip of the iceberg. The documents reveal much clearer idea of what actually happened in the 2016 U.S. presidential election, which has a huge bearing on what will happen in 2020. It's the same people involved who we know are building on these same techniques, she said. There's evidence of really quite disturbing experiments on American voters, manipulating them with fear-based messaging, targeting the most vulnerable that seem to be continuing. This is an entire global industry that's out of control, but what this does is lay out what was happening with this one company. So I don't know what to think about this, to tell you the truth, because to me, this seems like, I don't know. I can read this both ways. I don't know if you're following me or not. I can read this two ways. Either this is going to help Trump, or else this may hurt Trump because they're coming up with this stuff that may or may not be factual. I don't know. I'll have to wait and look at these documents, or try to, at least peruse them and see. But what do you think about this? Do you think this is a good thing that all these documents are coming out? Or, because there's two names in there that make me very, very nervous. That's Steele, who we know we can't trust, who's not reliable, and also Cambridge Analytica. That doesn't bring up any warm fuzzies in me. So I'm just saying, I don't know. I can read this two ways. I think we all could read this at least two ways. Tell me what you think about this. What do you think? Do you think this is a good thing? Do you think this is going to be a positive thing? Or is this more of the same? I would be very interested in hearing your evaluation. All right, let's go back now and see what else we can get into, because there's lots. There's always lots. Now, I'm not going to read this, and you've probably heard this by now, unless you've been living under a rock or possibly in Iraq. But no, if you were in Iraq, you'd probably know this too. Iran unfurls red flag to show they are ready for war after U.S. strike. Now, this was from yesterday, and it's a little alarming. Red flag has been raised during a ceremony to honor Iran's top general, Qasem, whatever you say his name, Soleimani. In a declaration, they are ready for war. Iranian state TV aired the image from a mosque in the Shiite holy city of Qom, showing the flag flying above the minarets. Red flags in Shiite tradition symbolize both blood spilled unjustly and serve as a call to avenge a person who is slain. It is the first time in history that the red flag has been hoisted on top of the Jamkaran Mosque in the Iranian city, and comes after warnings of harsh retaliation against the U.S. So, not sure what to think about that. Do you think it's really a threat? Or do you think it's more posturing and saber rattling on behalf of Iran? I don't know. It's hard to tell, because I don't think these people are overly easy to read. I don't know. I don't think it's good, but on the other hand, I think that America's not fooling. I think that if Iran takes any steps to harm Americans, it will be swiftly dealt with. So there you go. All right, let's come back here and see what else. Oh yes, you probably know this already, but in case you don't, you should. Google really is listening and recording on apps. Now, I know that, and to tell you the truth, the reason I knew that is because I would be talking to somebody on the phone and have my computer open, and I'd be talking about something obscure. Like, I made a joke about Depends underwear, and I made a joke about that, and then all of a sudden, everywhere I was getting ads for this. And I thought, what on earth? I mean, I've never searched for anything like that. It was a joke, why all of a sudden all these ads? So I started noticing that more and more, that if I talked about something, sure enough, all these ads would come up. Like right now, my car's getting old and I've been searching around. I'm not in any rush because my car's still viable and still runs and gets good gas mileage. But, I'm trying to search out new cars and just get an idea of what I might want and price-wise and all that. So all of a sudden, everywhere I look online, cars everywhere. Now, this isn't something that I'm sitting there searching for online. This is things that I talk about here and there. So yeah, somebody's listening. Somebody is. And you can't convince me otherwise. It just doesn't make sense other than that. So Google really is listening and recording on apps. Google says it records interactions with connected devices like the Google Home speaker only when we use the wake word of "Hey Google" or "Okay Google." But when using many of the Google smartphone apps with a microphone for voice search, or even Google on the desktop with voice commands, it can actually record every word you say to it, whether you use the wake word or not. The fine print is that you have to click on the microphone in the apps to communicate with Google. For queries like, "Hey Google, find Italian restaurants near me." Once you do that, Google will start transcribing you word for word and storing your commands in text and audio, as USA Today discovered in recent tests. This is similar to Google's monitoring of our keystrokes. The search giant takes note of every letter and word typed into Google Chrome browser and every website visited, unless you use incognito mode instead. Remember though, incognito doesn't mean invisible. How does the audio tracking get accepted? When you set up your Google account, it asks you to opt in to let Google track your video and audio recordings. In one series of emails to USA Today, Google said it does this to improve the accuracy of the Google Assistant. Sure. Google is so all-encompassing in tracking us that when we started dictating a dummy phrase aloud into the Google Assist app on iPhone, Google transcribed every word. The phrase, we are told that Google only records you if you first use the wake word. Then how do you explain this? Huh? It recorded and transcribed every other query as well. So we tried again on Google Pixel Android phone and on the web version of google.com using the microphone from the built-in webcam on an Apple MacBook Pro, and the results were strikingly similar. We were recorded every time. In response, Google says it records only when you click on the microphone. It adds that users have to opt in to have audio recordings stored to your account. But you're probably wondering, when did I opt in for this? To get you to agree to this, Google asks you to opt in by making certain features available. For instance, Google Maps has a service called Match, which suggests restaurants based on your past dining experiences and tastes. If you click on it, Google sends you to settings to allow location history tracking. Google also routes people to turn on location history in exchange for real-time traffic updates based on your current location, or with Google Photos to help improve auto organization and search. Opt in for those and you'll be forever tracked. Google says recording us can be used to improve speech systems. You can't let Google save a recording of your voice and other audio to give you more personalized experiences across Google services and to improve speech technology for you and everyone. Right. In its lengthy pitch to get users to opt in for audio tracking, it tells users that they will only get a limited experience with the app if we don't accept audio tracking, as opposed to full, which requires web, app, voice, and audio activity for tracking calendar reminders, flights, and more. Say no, and the assistant experience will be limited to things like web results, jokes, and local info. Well, I think we've read enough of that, but I know it is... Oh, holy mackerel, what on earth is this? Some big crash. I don't know what that is, to tell you the truth. Something must have happened when I was away from my computer. Anyway, now it's interesting because for Christmas, my mother, which I thought was the oddest gift from my mother, but she had gotten me among other things, a little Echo Dot. So I thought, I never really wanted one because I know that it can listen to you and so forth, but I thought, well, I'll set it up and, play with it. And I did. I set it up and I played with it and I asked it a lot of questions. Well, the weird thing was, the next day it started flashing yellow. So I said, Alexa, why are you flashing yellow? And it said, go to the app and, you have a notification. Or you can just say, Alexa, what are my notifications? So I said, Alexa, what are my notifications? And the weird thing was, someone had just left. They delivered an Amazon package and they had just left. And when this started flashing. And so finally I said, well, what are my notifications? Alexa, what are my notifications? And he says, your Amazon delivery has arrived. That freaked me out. Like, literally, it freaked me out because I'm looking at this thing and I'm looking at the door and I'm looking at this thing and going, wow. Now, I know it's not that big a deal. They're all connected in, but still, it was just a very weird feeling. And I'm just not so sure I want Alexa listening to me. So there you go. I don't know. My mother bought one for herself too, which I thought was equally odd. But anyway, I don't know. Somebody talked her into that. This would be a great thing. So I'm going to go set hers up for her, but I don't know. All right, let's go on now. That's enough of me chatting. All right, and we've got a lot about the fires here. I know I'm running out of time. I'm going to skip this a little bit about the fires, and I'll tell you why. I think what I'll do is, not tonight, but possibly tomorrow, I'll do a separate video just on the fires and an update and all that. It is horrendous. My thoughts and prayers are truly, I know people say that, but my prayers are truly with the Australian people. I'm so sorry for what is happening to your country. It's absolutely awful. And the fact that, people are dying, animals are dying, and some of these animals are, Australia is the only place they live. So, yeah, not good. So that I will look into possibly tomorrow. And then I wanted to show you this because you've all heard about Agenda 2030. If you have not, please, some of the people on YouTube can do a much better job of explaining it than I can. And there are some wonderful videos about Agenda 2021 and Agenda 2030. You should know about both of those. Really, you need to know. And I'm not just saying that, you definitely need to know. If you are not aware of what it is and the ramifications of it, please find out. And the best place to do that is probably on YouTube, and just Google it. Not Google it, but search for it, and it will come up. Now, they've probably done away with a lot of the videos, but I'm quite sure they're still there. Some of them are still there. But this is to do with Canada, but it would be interesting to see how the US fares in this as well. September 25th and 26th of 2015, Stephen Harper. Now, Stephen Harper was the prime minister right before Justin Trudeau. He was a conservative, and everyone thought, many people thought, that he was a very good man. Possibly not, from what I'm hearing now and finding out now. But anyway, Stephen Harper signed Agenda 2030. So 2015, Stephen Harper signed Agenda 2030. In 2008, Stephen Harper signed Agenda 21. No party stood against these sovereignty-ending agreements. Harper also negotiated and signed the FIPA, which I'm not sure what that is, which surrendered our AG land, our oil, and our mineral wealth to China with no benefit to Canada. Harper lit the torch that Trudeau proudly carries. Remember this before you vote Lib Con in 2019. So now this is an old meme, obviously, but the information in it is good. So that is Canada. Canada very, very quickly being sold out. I'm getting to the point where I don't even recognize my own country anymore. And, I consider myself American. I lived there for a good portion of my life, and I love America. I love it. I love the United States. And it breaks my heart to see what's happening to Canada. It breaks my heart to see what's happening to the United States, because my heart is in both countries. I consider myself American. I feel that I live by those values that America embraces, but I don't like to see my country going the way it's going either. So there you go. Now, this is another thing that, every day that goes by, I think, you know what? I can't respect Donald Trump any more than I already do. But then he does something that breaks that. And I think, well, no, I was wrong. I am capable of more respect. So, yeah, Donald J. Trump tweets, these media posts will serve as notification to the United States Congress that should Iran strike any U.S. person or target, the United States will quickly and fully strike back, and perhaps in a disproportionate manner. Such legal notice is not required, but is given nonetheless. Now, who is that directed towards? Of course, Nancy Pelosi, who's outraged that they didn't ask her permission to kill Soleimani. Oh my gosh, they didn't ask me. Huh? I don't know who she thinks she is, but she thinks she's some important somebody. Yes, she does. And you know what happens to people that think that they're way more important than they are? They get humbled every time. So anyway, yeah, that is poking fun at her. And also, it serves a purpose, but it's also trolling. And I love him for that. You gotta love that. Such legal notice is not required, but is given nonetheless. Yes, Trump did not break any laws by not informing Congress of what he was doing. He broke no laws whatsoever. None. Zip, nada. Don't believe the mainstream media. Don't believe people like Schiff and Pelosi, who have agendas of their very own. Dirty little agendas. So there you go. Now, that is going to be it for tonight, but I'll be back because my internet's fixed. Woohoo! Well, that was kind of probably more enthusiastic than I really feel. Maybe it's like, woohoo! I don't know. I do like to have my internet up and running so that I can check on things and email back and forth and do all sorts of other things, like research stuff. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. I thought I did, but I didn't. So I'll just end it before I end up looking really more foolish than I already look. So that is it. I will be back tomorrow. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I hope you sleep well, stay safe, and I hope you come and join me tomorrow because I'll be here, and sure would be nice to see you guys because you're looking well tonight. You're good looking people. I don't care what anybody says. And I hope to see you tomorrow. You take care. Good night.